Look at my eyelashes. You look so majestic. Come into focus. Focus. Ooh, yes. Yes. I highly recommend eyelash extensions. They make you feel like a boss. So. Hey guys, so today I want to talk about a topic that I get a lot of questions about from aspiring writers, aspiring freelancers, and that is how you can start building a portfolio when you don't have any experience. Like with a lot of jobs in the world, with freelancing, pretty much any job you apply to is going to ask to see writing samples. I have actually found that a lot of freelance writing positions aren't really even concerned with a traditional resume. They're just like, hey, just send us an introduction and, 4 or 5 writing samples. We don't care where you worked before. We just want to see your clips, your portfolio. And for me, that's great. I have a lot of great clips that I can send along, but for someone who's new to the industry, you might not have that many clips and you're kind of faced with the dilemma of, well, if I need clips to get a job, how am I ever going to get pieces published? It's confusing. And I think it's kind of a dilemma in a lot of industries. It's not just freelance writing, but it's important to have writing clips. It's important to have a portfolio that you can show potential employers. And so today I want to go over a couple ways you can start building up your portfolio, kind of getting those writing clips you need, as well as a couple things I really don't recommend you do when you're asked for writing samples. One of the first ways you can start getting published writing samples is just to start your own blog. This is what I did. I know a lot of other freelancers who got their start this way. If there's something you're passionate about, if you like writing about a certain topic, just start a blog on it. There are a lot of sites where you can start a blog for low to no cost. I personally used WordPress when I was first starting out, and there are free plans that just let you create really pretty blogs. They're just simple and you can publish your own work on there. You can even get a custom domain name. And so if you start a site on WordPress and say it's like janesmith.com, automatically, if you're just on a free plan, it's going to be janesmith.wordpress.com. If you want to get rid of that part that says .wordpress, it's actually really affordable. I never knew this. It's only like $25 a year to just become janesmith.com. So I really recommend WordPress. That $25 is going to go a huge way to making you look more credible. You have your own URL, you have your own website. And once you're on there, just publish some blog posts, put the time and effort in, publish a couple dozen, and then use them as writing samples. I did it. I got jobs that way. I'm sure other people have the same. So as long as it's high quality writing, publishers don't have a problem with that. They will totally accept that as a writing sample. So that's really one good, easy, affordable way to start getting those writing samples you need. Creating and maintaining a blog, when you do it the right way, it's a fair bit of work. It's not something you can just get done in a day. If you're going to put in the time and effort to, make it look really nice, to include all the appropriate elements, it's going to take some work. And if you don't have that time to dedicate to it, another good option is to take the pieces you've written and to publish them on a site like Medium, which is just kind of an article aggregator, for lack of a better term. So they accept submissions from all sorts of writers, whether you're published or not, and they just publish them all. And so it's a great way to get your byline on a site that people know of, that's legit, and there's really no barrier to entry there. Off the top of my head, the only other site like that I can think of is Thought Catalog, which is kind of targeted toward a younger audience. But what's nice about Thought Catalog is if it's a good enough piece, it'll get quite a bit of traction. They do have a lot of readers, and I've seen quite a number of pieces kind of go viral from it. I wouldn't say viral, but get a lot of traction, get a lot of social shares, and that looks really good in your portfolio, even if it just is a site that accepts submissions from anyone. Another good option, either once you've started your own blog or instead of it, is to get in touch with some local websites, so local news sites, local, think tanks, and see if they would let you contribute to their website. A lot of times you're going to have to do this for free. It's just what it is, but if it's just a little dinky piece about the new park in the community and how your kids love it, it's not going to be a whole lot of work for you, and the trade-off is you're going to get a byline on a site that looks legit and they published you, and that's kind of an unspoken recommendation that they think you're a good writer. This is actually how I got some of my first serious writing clips. I worked for 2 local publications. First, I did an internship at a local magazine called Rhode Island Monthly, and I was in college, but they still assigned me work, and I got clips both in their print magazine and on their website, which looks really great to put in my portfolio. The second, I did an internship for a environmental consulting business one summer. I think it was in the summer, but when I finished that, I had done like a project for them that had really interesting findings, so I pitched it to a local environmental publication, and that ended up being a really great source of clips for me because they brought me back to do a couple other pieces as well, just because I was in a good area. I was down by the coast, and they had some stories they needed written by someone down there. So it was a good way to get my foot in the door, and I still have some clips that I include in my portfolio to this day from both those local sites. Finally, this one is not necessarily going to work for everyone, but it can be a way to get your foot in the door. So if you have some sort of really unique story to tell, so I don't even know, just something crazy happened to you and people would be interested in hearing about it, whether it's something medical, you had like a crazy relationship, your family is either really weird or they do something interesting. If you have something that would make a really great personal essay, you might be able to get that published in a larger publication and maybe even get paid for it. The key here is going to be your pitch. You're going to have to write a killer pitch that an editor is so drawn into that they can't say no. It has to be so compelling and well written that if they do ask you, do you have prior experience, and you say no, they're still going to give you the job because it's such a great story. So if you do go this route, really hone your pitch, ask for help, find someone to reread it and go over it with you if you have the capabilities, find another writer. It's really great. Like, there are online sites where it's kind of like groups of writers and they support each other. If you can get into one of those, ask them if they can help you with your pitch, and you'll probably be surprised. They'll help you. Like, we're nice people. For the most part, we're pretty nice people. So that is, again, it's not going to work for everyone, but it's an option and it's a viable option. And, if you can get that kind of story into a big name publication, like Cosmo does a whole lot of that kind of stuff, that's going to look great in your portfolio. So there are also a couple of things that people are often tempted to do in order to build their portfolio, but that I can tell you from a seasoned writer's perspective aren't really great ideas. I don't know why I'm not looking into the camera. And so the first of which is especially true if you're just out of college. You might be tempted to just use college assignments for your writing samples. And so this can work if it's topical. So if you're pitching to a website about, I don't know, environmental science, and you were an environmental science major and you wrote some short paper about a topic that's relevant to the website, that might work, maybe. But in general, it's not a great idea. It doesn't look professional. It just signals to them that, hey, I'm just out of college. The second thing that I don't recommend doing that, oh God, so many writers fall into this trap, is going on sites like Upwork or Fiverr and just, taking whatever job you can in order to, get clips. And I think if it's going to be bylined, okay, fine, I can deal with that. But so many of these pieces are going to be ghostwritten, which means your name's not going to be on it. In fact, they're probably going to put someone else's name on it altogether. And that's just what it is. That's in the contract. And if you don't realize that, you cannot use those as your clips. If you present a clip with someone else's name on it to a publication, they're going to be like, what? That's not it, kid. So I really wouldn't recommend you do that. Just sites like Upwork and sites like Upwork and Fiverr, I have a negative opinion on them. I don't think it's not a sustainable way to make money. I'll talk about this in other videos, I'm sure, but overall, it's not a great habit to get into. You don't want to be doing kind of content mill work where you're writing a lot for a tiny bit of money. That's not the way to build a freelance career. So avoid those sites, and especially avoid any ghostwriting jobs because they won't help you build your portfolio. Hopefully this has been helpful and you have a couple ideas of how you can start getting writing samples to send to freelance job gigs. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And if you like this video and you found it helpful, hit that like button. Thanks guys, I'll see you next time.